This is the video for Math 10.2. In 10.1, we learned how to find the volume, the inside, how much can a figure can hold. We figured out the volume of a rectangular prism. Now we're moving to a triangular prism. So still a 3D figure, and we're still thinking about what can go inside, but the shape this time is in a triangle instead of a rectangle. So the learning target, find the volume of triangular prisms. Okay, and we can do this. First of all, one thing you need to know about a triangular prism is that the bases, in a triangular prism you have two bases. The bases are the same size. Another word for that is congruent, that they're the same size, same shape. Okay, and so when you look at a figure, so if I'm looking at this figure right here, I can see I got all these sides, and I'm looking at the two bases. Here's one base, here's another base. Those two bases are triangles, and they're exactly the same size and shape, means they're congruent. Okay, so that'd be my base, and then from the base to the base is the height. Okay, so once I figure out this base, how much can go in here, then I just have to multiply by how high it can go, the height. Okay, so so triangular prism, the bases have congruent or the same size and same shape triangles. That's a key. Now, when you see big B, like if you see a little b, it means just the base. So if I'm looking at just a triangle, so I'm just looking at this triangle, you have the base here, and then you have the height here. Okay, base and height. That's a little b. But if I say the big B, what I want is the area of the base. So the big B would be the area of this triangle. And remember, the area of a triangle, area equals 1/2 times little b, base, times height. Okay? So my big B, when I'm talking about the area of a triangle, the big B is 1/2 times base times height. So I get my height here, and I get my base here. So I take this small b, whatever this is, times this, and then I have to times it by 1/2, or divide it in half. Okay? Cut it in half. All right. So big B is the area of the base. The big B of a triangle is 1/2 times little b and little h. Okay. Volume of a triangular prism, volume equals the big B times h. So it's the same formula as the formula for a rectangular prism. Okay? Rectangular prism is V equals big B times h. The difference is you're going to have a different way to find the big B. For a rectangular prism, the big B is length times width. Okay? But for a triangular prism, it's 1/2 times your base times your height. Okay? So in this last chapter, we learned about the area of triangle, area of a parallelogram, area of all sorts of things, so that now we can take those formulas and apply them to our prisms that have different shapes. So this one is a triangular prism. So we have to find the area of a triangle, this one, and then times it by the height. Okay? Let me give you an example over here. So I have this triangular prism. I know it's a triangular prism because this triangle here is the same as this one here. There's one base, there's another base. So my two bases are exactly the same, triangular prisms. So I need to find the area of this triangle, and then there's my height. I'll times it by that. Okay? The way I'm going to do that, volume equals, I could to the big B, but I know the big B is 1/2 times base times height. you know what? I'm going to big B times height. Okay, volume equals big B times height. The height here is 10. Volume equals big B times 10. Now, I need to figure out what this big B is. So then I do a separate thing over here. If I want to find the area of this triangle, area equals 1/2 times little b times h. And I know my base is 7. Area equals 1/2 times 7 times the height is 8. Okay, so I do this, 56 times 1/2 equals my area, and half of 56 is 28. So my area of this one triangle is 28. That's the area of the base. That's the big B. So volume equals 28 times 10. Volume equals 280. It's meters, and it is cubed. So, to find the volume of a triangular prism, you need to find the area of the base. You find the area of the base, and then times it by the height. Area of the base times the height. This is going to be the key here. And we spent a lot of time last chapter. How do you find the area of a triangle? Once you find the area of a triangle, then you just go to the height, times it by the height. Okay? Volume equals your big B, your area of a base, times your height. Okay, one more. Like with the other ones that we did in the last lesson, you can always find a missing part. Okay, I need to move this chair down. If you know everything but one variable, you can find it. Okay? In this one, I want to find the height. I have the volume of the whole thing. It's a triangular prism. I have this part of the triangle and this part of the triangle. So I can figure out the area of the triangle. I just don't know the height. Okay? So, volume equals big B times H. I know my volume is 12 equals big B. I'm going to figure out the big B right now. And the way you do big B, area equals 1/2 times little b times h. So 0.3, 1/2 times 0.3, and then my height is, is 1 times 1. Okay. Now, I'm going to convert area equals, I'm going to convert this 1/2 to 0.5. So area equals 0.5 times 0.3 times 1. Okay? So let's do that on the calculator. Clear. 0.5 times 0.3 equals 0.15 times 1. Anything times 1 is itself, so it's 0.15. So the area of this triangle is 0.15 centimeters squared. And that's the big B. That's the big B. So big B is 0.15. And my height, I don't know. That's the thing I want to find out. So I want to get this height all by itself. It's times 0.15, so I divide this by 0.15, divide this by 0.15, and let's see what we get. 12 divided by 0.15 gets me 80. 80 equals my height. Okay, so I think this is 80. Now, because I want to make sure I'm good, I want to make sure this is the correct thing. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm dealing with 0.3 here, 0.15, 1. I'm dealing with all these small numbers, 12, and then I get 80 centimeters here. My gut tells me That seems weird. That seems like an awfully big number. So I'm going to check it. And I'm going to do it by seeing V equals big B times H. And that will see if I can get the 12. So I'm going to pretend I don't know the volume. I know the big B is 0.15. And then times the height. I think the height is 80. Okay, so let's see if this works. If 0.15 times 80 gets me 12, then I'm good to go. 0.15 times 80 equals 12. Volume equals 12 centimeters cubed. I got it. I checked it. It worked. Okay? The key to finding the volume of triangular prisms is knowing the formulas. Okay? Knowing that this is a triangular prism, knowing you have to find the base, the big B, what's the area of the base, and then times it by the height. If you can't remember the area of finding the base or the area of a triangle, then you won't be able to do this. So you want to keep your sheet that has all your formulas on it and use that still. Okay? If it's a rectangular one, if it's a rectangular prism, you find the base of the rectangle and times it by the height. If it's a triangle, you find the base of the triangle and times it by the height. Okay? So those are your two. We just did last lesson was finding the volume of a rectangular prism. This is finding the volume of a triangular prism. All right, go ahead, watch the guided practice, independent practice, and see what you can do.